Hi, Niken. Thank you for meeting with us. And thank you for opening up your beautiful home. I'm so excited. This is our very first parent and teacher kind of a video. The intention behind this is, as an educator, I'm always approached by parents and asking things about how to develop the child, how to assist them. And though I am a teacher, I'm not a parent myself. And I thought, and usually when I speak to other parents, I'm sharing, this parent did this and that parent did this. And I'm constantly asking you, what are you doing and how are you doing things? So I thought, why not create this content where other parents can have a look and learn and decide for themselves, on what works and what does not work. I am a true fan of you. You're one of my favorite parents. Why or where we have met is you've been in my toddler class for almost 2 years. Oh my goodness! So I've managed to see you at play with your son, and you were one of those very rare parents who were always there. So it's an accompanying program, and you were always there in the class, and that was, as an educator, it was so nice to see, and it was so nice to see how that translated to your son as well. And probably I can count with one hand on how many times you were not there. And even when you were pregnant, you had your helper waiting outside, and she might swap now and then with you, but somewhat, for me, I thought you made this decision to be present in your child's life, and that's really what I would like to unpack from you, because I know it's not easy, and how did you do that? So please share with us, what was the decision that you made? Was it something that you decided before you had children? You said, I want to be this mom. How does it work when it comes to parenting? Having a child.
Well, first of all, thank you, Janita, for having these kind of discussions. To answer your questions, yes, it was my decision, but not only my decision, but also my husband's was. Yeah. So I think it's important for us, and we always agree on this, that when it comes to what family and parenting style, we have to decide mutually what kind of, we have to make a plan, not just in terms of, or in the sense of financial security, because that also plays an important role also, but also to what kind of family values that we will apply when the family grows, and that's why it has to be made mutually by the spouse and the teammate, the parents, the future parents.
Yeah. That is so aware. I sometimes joke with teachers saying that I think people need to take a license to become parents. Like they need to know these are the list. Do you have 20 years of your life to dedicate to this human? Because it's such a big job. It is. It's a human being, and being such aware and so conscious of what is required, where you see. It's almost like building a company. Your vision and your mission and your long-term goal. Tell me first how hard it was making that.
Well, it's never been easy, but it will be easier when your husband, when the parents take the active role towards it. And we always, I think this is the mantra for our family, that we always take parenting professionally.
Wow.
Like no, that's in the sense of when we are professionals, you always want to perform, right? If you don't perform, then there will be consequences of that. And that also applies into parenting. You know, of course, there's no like KPI to take as a perfect parent. There's no such thing. But at least with that kind of mindset, our children will get the best versions of ourselves. Because we always want to perform. Because being parents have consequences. It's not just like I give birth and then that's it, and then I take the other roles of a mom to, let's say, my parents, the grandma and grandpa, or the babysitter, or the nannies. That's not good. You always have to be present.
Where did this mindset come from? Like, did you inherit it from your parents? Did you see somewhere in between, like, no, this is not working, or like, where did that thought of mine or her start? Because it's very rare.
I know.
So I think that's why I'm kind of dissecting and wondering, why are you thinking the way you think?
We talk a lot. Like with our oldest sons, we didn't. We tried to conceive for several years, and then in that moment we think a lot.
Like an opportunity.
The opportunity to explore what kind of parenting style and family values that we want to apply, and also obviously nowadays there are so many resourceful. Like, you can take one book of parenting, and then you try to think whether it's going to be applied that way in my case.
My culture and my
exactly. Of course, there's a lot of moment that kind of moments, and there are a lot of talks also between me and my husband.
Since you have made this conscious decision that this is the type of parent both you and your husband are going to become, and now you have applied it in both your sons, especially for your first son, what did you observe were the benefits of it, where you could kind of point your finger and go, that's why this is working?
This is a great question. Actually, well, in the case of our first son, Zane, his name is Zane. Zane is a gifted child. So,
as in assessed.
Assessed. And so intellectually, it's proven already. And also when I talk to, pediatricians and then psychologists, and they always say that it takes three things in order for you to make your son or your children's genius. First is genetic. That is something there, it's obvious, and it's nutrition and stimulations. And we did all of these three things, especially during the first 1,000 days of their lives. Until they are 3 years old. So that's why I think we see the result now. Of course, like children do. Sometimes they're good at this and they're not really good at that. That's another roles of the parents, and also to what extent we can collaborate that with school, the teaching team also, in order to unleash their potential.
That reminds me of when I think we were discovering it, because we were still very young when he was still in our class, and we were kind of putting one and one together, and we were starting to discover, like, this boy has something else, and and I remembered how you wanted to teach him or expose him to Mandarin, and you went ahead and learned Mandarin first, and I was just like, wow, so then I was like, why are you, and Mandarin's difficult. I speak a little just because of being Singaporean, but you made that decision to go learn Mandarin, and I remember asking him, I was like, are you learning Mandarin? He's like, so that I can have conversations with him, like he's learning and I know how to now participate in his learning. How did that go?
The Mandarin. Jane's Mandarin is pretty okay
Yeah.
now. Of course, between now and then, I help him with with the lessons, but no, I'm an amateur too, so
It's difficult.
It's difficult.
Yes.
So, but that's the kind of professional parenting that I think, in my case, it works,
Yeah.
but maybe not with other
course.
households,
Yeah.
because we have different situations.
Yeah.
But I really benefit a lot from
Yeah.
being an active parent, and
Yeah.
then take, like, I have my standards of
Mm.
parenting style also,
Yeah. And so you decided this is the standard of your parenting style, and you made everything else work around it. May I ask, were you, having projects? Were you doing some work on the side, or you decided I'm just going to take off and just focus on the children?
No, I'm still I'm a working mom.
Okay. Yeah.
So at the same time, I'm also an entrepreneur.
Wow. So
So-
you're running a business as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is very possible because the entrepreneur requires even more time. How did you manage it? Like, just to hear tools from you that could help another mom who wants to do this, who might not know. I can't do this, but maybe your tools might help them kind of schedule themselves.
I think it's important for us women, especially mother, especially, to have a good supporting system.
Yeah.
At home, of course, it consists your spouse. Father needs to understand, and also
Share the load.
and sometimes even taking the roles of a mother. That also will be helpful. And assistance at homes also plays important roles also, in order for you to at least share some of the houseworks activities to them, and also to school, to the parent to the teaching team. Also, it's I always consider them my support system. So in order to collaborate,
It takes a village to raise
yeah,
a child.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
why that's the
It is
philosophy
true.
of that.
Yes.
So yeah, that too. And second, I think nowadays there are many creative ways for women, especially, to empower themselves. It's not like maybe 20 years ago that only the options is very limited. Like, you have to be a working mom, working to the big company from 9 to 5. But nowadays, it's many creative ways to do that. Like, join a community, to actually empower yourself, and being a mompreneur, when you actually can earn money at home, by joining a project, and then that kind of stuff with this work is now, borderless, and with the
Yes.
hype of social media, there are many ways to empower us as women.
Yeah. So it's truly just making a conscious plan to how everything can fit together and what needs to change, or if a 9 to 5 job is now disabling a mom, then maybe now she can be an entrepreneur or do other stuff that could empower her and keep, as women, we still want to have our own thing going on.
Yeah.
Another role, because we, especially moms, wear many hats. That sounds, that's a very good tool for anyone who might want to apply it.
Join in a parenting ecosystem group. That
Mm.
also helps.
Yeah.
Because in the end, it's not always about the money. It's how us as women to actually be able to self-actualization. So especially if in that household it's already decided that the main breadwinner is the dad,
Right.
is the father, but it doesn't mean that the mother role is the activity.
Yeah.
We have to be empowered also, and to be able to have access to knowledge, digital literacy, that kind of things is not
Upgrading the
Yeah,
self.
yeah.
Yeah. Other values you would say are non-negotiable when you set up this plan?
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, I think first, since religion is also part of our life, so some of the values in our religions also apply in our everyday activities. And since our children are still young, so parents, our presence is very important for them. That's the value of our family. Like we have to be present in the sense that, of course, it's not like 24 hours we have to be with them, but with the mindset of professional parenting, so we always try our best to be present and not to be distracted when we are with them. My husband always wants that our children will come to him as a friends first if they have problems, instead of going to other persons or other their friends. They want to come to. He wants them to come to him as a father, as a father and also as a friend, to share their thoughts and maybe ask some advice. And it's that's where the approach should be. We have to know when to be a parent to them, but at the same time also to be their friend. I think for us, we always treat our children like adults, the way we communicate to them, so they don't feel like they're little and they don't understand things. And I think the way of our communication is also important for our family values of parenthood.
So just respecting the child as a person, and what you said is so important and beautiful as well, where people go through issues growing up, and instead of going for a friend or someone who might give them a bad advice, to be that core person in their life where you can always come back and share that with you, and be the parent, which is what I think everyone would kind of require of a parent, where the outside world is so shaky. You want this one person that you can turn to will always be your rock, whether or not they have the solution, but to kind of say that person will always be there, not give up.
Yeah, that's so cute. That's actually our goal as parents. So.
Yeah, that's so important. I know I kind of want to call this crazy thing, but people aren't animals and we don't really raise them, yet we still have to dedicate our lives to these young, dedicate my life to like teaching them, and as a parent, in helping them to develop and build these foundational blocks. Part of building these foundational blocks, you had this activity that again blew my mind, because it's so important and relevant, especially at this time of our universe, our Earth living. Tell us first what this activity was, and then just go ahead and talk about it.
Well, it's actually I have an IG account. I call it Happy Messy Play, because it's basically my activities and my husband's activities with the children at home, and sometimes it involves a lot of mess. That's why we call it Happy Messy Play, And also, initially, that these activities and it's the compilations of these activities, I made this Instagram account. It's just for the sake of memory when they grow up, so they always come back and see what they did with me and with my husband. But at the same time, also there are many positive feedbacks from our peers, from the parents too, like, okay, so I can actually play with that kind of activities with children. And then I said, of course. And then sometimes they follow the activities that is there. So
Inspired by the things that you do.
yeah. So yeah, basically it's my activities, our activities at home.
Okay. So this special activity was unlike something that I usually see, where you had given your sons dolls and shawl where they carry the dolls.
It's a skill, it's a lifetime skill.
Yes.
It's not easy to get
Yeah.
with the
There is always, I've had parents who are like, oh, I'm not going to let my child play with dolls or sons play with dolls. And even I tend to always introduce girls to vehicles and dinosaurs because we decide somewhat, they should like pink, they should like blue. But if they are introduced to anything, they do create a sense of interest in it. So tell us more about this baby doll activity, because that I think people should know about.
Yeah. Basically, my husband and I, we always want to apply non-traditional way of parenting, because traditional way of parenting really defines the roles of men and women. There's always the presumptions that the main breadwinner is the father, and then the mother is the main caretaker of the home, and then the child care and the education of the children, but just that, And actually, it's not true. It's a myth.
Yeah.
And we want to, not like break the gender roles, I guess, in an extreme way, but at least we want to introduce the concept of gender equality, social sensitive issues to our son early on, because we want them, when they grow up, to become more open-minded adults, more responsible and nurtured as fathers. And that kind of activities, playing with dolls, playing in the kitchen, it actually prepares them to be a nurturing father someday. They can get more involved in the parenting, especially early on when the babies, when they're still babies, it's very difficult. And I cannot imagine if the mother has to do it alone, because the father simply, maybe because not just because they don't want to do it, but they don't know how to do it. They have limited knowledge of that, and that's why they hire a babysitter and nannies to help them. But it's basically, it has to be the mother and the father, and that kind of simple activities will normalize them about that gender equality, and it should start at home.
Yes. Yeah. And definitely what they have to do as well to activate the maternal energy or the maternal awareness, and to kind of, I think, like what you said, most fathers might feel like, I don't know how to do this. This has never been activated within me, therefore I shouldn't do this. But there is a lot of depth of and doing such activities make it, like you mentioned, normalize something as simple as cooking. My dad cooked, and he's Mom, a better cook. Like he makes on the weekends, and my mom kind of makes a more simpler version of soup and stuff like that. So growing up, I just thought everybody cooks. I didn't think it was a woman's thing to cook. I didn't think men don't cook. So I'm kind of using my own example because it has set my mind where we all do this. It's something that we do. Sometimes people love to do it. And therefore it is important to introduce that and not kind of close up this is women's and I think that's where we are now as a society, where we're kind of fighting for these rights and saying, I don't need to do it, you can do it, or or trying to learn how to be this balanced woman as well. Do you notice that that's the case when many men are unaware of this ability, the superpower that we all have as humans? And where or what advice you could give within that?
Yeah. I think in the society there are some presumptions that men and women's roles are different, and there are some traits that we believe that man is better in the workplace, in the workforce, and man and women is better at home. And society also always believes that women are more nurturing. So that's why the jobs of the house works and the care of the children goes to the women. But it's not that.
I know some very great dads who are very maternal as well.
So I think we have to normalize that kind of a mindset and start applying in our home with our children, especially with the boys. Like simple thing, not just playing with dolls, but to be able to always validate their feelings when they feeling. That's a big one. Powerless or weak. Sometimes children cry. We have to leave from the mindset or the image of man has to be strong, macho, like stoic role. But then because it will shut them down, when you don't validate and acknowledge their feeling, it's okay if you cry because it's a feeling. It's a feeling.
It's like nothing to do with being a male or a woman.
It doesn't have to be gender.
Emotion.
It's a simple thing. So what we do at home is not like we want to we have to erase the gender. So that big thing, branded thing we do. But no, it's just simple things like validate their feelings, normalize them. Normalize them with activities that usually it's unusual for the boys to do that. But why not? Because men can also do that. Sometimes we neglect men also in that area. They don't see their potential.
Because I do agree with you, and I feel that women or females, like girls growing up, we are somewhat preconditioned at a very young age. Or at least the ones that I know, have to participate in the house, like learn how to cook, do the laundry, that kind of skills. We've done that for ages. In fact, before, at least in my culture, where you have to do these things so that you will be a good wife. And I think we still follow that, where the girls, many times in homes, the boys are still sleeping and playing. The girls cannot do that. They have to wake up early. They have to show up. And I think it's a bit, as much as it thinks like, oh, you just want to spoil the boys, but it's very unfair to them because we're not giving them opportunity and the right to show up and visible. And another thing that I feel we do as well as women is, especially when we grow up and have our cycles, we go through the pain and we show up. We are all known to be on our cycle and still go to work, still do the things we do. So we've also gained that resilience biologically, and therefore stronger most of the time to kind of pick up many challenges, because there's research that like cramps are similar to a mild heart attack, and it just blows my mind that here we are just carry on with a mild heart attack, showing up, running businesses, teaching a class, where that takes a lot. And because we also required to be daughters and behave the way we need to behave, we are also trained to be multitasking all the time. And we don't give that opportunity to the boys or the male growing up. What else can you say about this, or what are the tools that you can empower the listeners with?
I always believe that the philosophy of learning through play. I think you agreed on that also. So other than that simple activities, playing activities with the children, you can always engage and open the minds of the children through books. I always put books in every corner of the house, so anytime my son can just read and then move around. And through that channels, you can when the children are older, you can give books that have not heavy topics, but it's
Controversial topics.
introduce them to a social issue kind of topic, but they form it in a children's story, like topics about discrimination, skin color, and then gender roles, that kind of books you can activities with books you can do it with children, reading together and then make a conversations about it at home. So it's not actually a rocket science that we do. It just we normalize
Conscientious. That's what I'm taking from this. And as you said, books are such great tools, and it doesn't feel like it feels like a conversation can start from a book rather than having to have this conversation with one of another age. And there are so many now, like you said, that addresses issues within society that can start to slowly open their mindset and have this conversation, because many times they go into school without having this conversation and don't know how to deal and react with it, and therefore fall prey to bullying, and that takes a spiral turn, which we could have intervened earlier on. Is there anything else? I know my mind is being blown at the same time. But is there anything else that you would like to share, before we come to a close?
I think I always think that as parents, there's no such perfect parents. I always it's a growing up process. And during that process, sometimes there's ups and downs. Sometimes you have to, do a backseat for a while. But then you can always make a comeback. You're learning on the job. Basically, it's a self-growth. So be flexible also at the same time, and be agile. I think agility is very important. Like when this is not working, like. In my case, sometimes there's a conflict of roles at the same time of being wife and mothers and working mom. So, and I'm not a good multitasking. Women are not good at all. Because reality, we just do more work to be done. We're not multitasking at all. Our brain
just trying to get it all done.
Exactly. But our brain is just focused to one thing. Or we can just flip, as if like we do a lot of things at the same time. But scientifically, no. It's not like that. But when that time comes, there's a vaccine when you're feeling down, you have to be mindful also that you are not a superwoman. You know, it's okay. It's okay to be low today, but maybe tomorrow I will make a comeback. You'll come back better, come back stronger, and you cannot do it alone. Sometimes mothers are very stressful because they're lonely. You have to make you know conversations with the other moms, you know, to get their support. Join supporting parenting system. Some things like that will help. So it's a support system. So you don't feel alone. And if you fail, it's okay. It's okay.
We're all trying.
Yeah, we're all trying, and then tomorrow get better, and then do better as parents, as moms. Sometimes we lost control also. There are maybe tears involved also in raising a family, but that's part of the growing up. I think being a mother is really the most transformation things that I've ever went through.
But I think I've taken enough time from you. You have been so generous with
Thank you.
all your knowledge, and thank you so much for sharing.
Well, I hope it helps.
I'm
I don't know
certain
if it's
that it
helpful.
will help. I am just so glad that we are opening up this box, this conversation, so that more of us can talk about it, and more of us can be aware of another way to do this, and just with from being a parent. So thank you so much for everything that you do. You're